Hey everybody, it's Durger Time, and thank you for joining me for another TEW 2020 video thing. I'm kind of releasing these sporadically up till the release of the game as I kind of talk about my thoughts on the game and what's going on. And this is a big one, and it's not a great one. This is about the fact that you might not be seeing that many mods for this game, at least not at first. There's some problems. So, what is going on? Some of you may have seen, if you're kind of focused on the community already, that a major mod maker has basically called it quits, at least for now. Fleisch, who does a ton of real-world mods and historic mods, went on the Grey Dog Software forums yesterday and basically said everything's canceled. He's struggling to keep up with the system. It's kind of a nightmare to work with. In fact, he literally says the whole conversion of these mods have been nothing short of an effing nightmare. And that's kind of the consensus I'm getting from a lot of mod makers. Now, I've talked to a few people that are rather prolific in the scene, and it's not good. So what is going on, and what can be done to address it? Well, the major problems right now apparently have to do with the editor, which is shocking to me because at first glance, there are things in here that I would have thought would make life easier. As we talked about in my 16 things that I liked about TEW, one of the things was, in fact, some of the updates to the editor, some of the changes that had happened. But when digging a little bit deeper into it, mod makers have told me that this database system is actually immensely harder to work with. And I'm kind of going to show you guys that today and some of the problems that mod makers are having. And a lot of it stems with workers. So, in order to do a worker now, what you have to do is you have to go and find the worker of your choice. Let's just say, I don't know, Jimmy Havoc. And if you are making this from scratch, you're obviously going to have to put everything in. That's kind of to be expected. But now you're going to have to add attributes. So now you got to click the attributes button. Now you got to go through and add all of the attributes that you want for that person. So you got to go performance, select which one you want of that, select which personality trait, what addictions, etc. Now, this is great because it adds a lot of options, right? We had talked about how great the attribute system is, and no one's saying the attribute system is bad. By all accounts, this is going to make these characters a lot more fleshed out, lively, and interesting. But are you noticing a problem with doing this for every wrestler? Now, look at these lists. Not only are these multiple clicks just to get into everything, right? How many clicks did we have to get in here? We had to go find Jimmy Havoc, right? So we had to click on this list. We had to go and find Jimmy Havoc. So maybe you got to type him in. And this is just from modifying a mod, right? Now we got to go find his attributes. Here's another click. Now he has attributes that we converted that maybe we don't want, right? Now we want to go through and find the performance that we want for him. So maybe we want him to play extremist well. Or offbeat unstable well, probably. Now we gotta click that. Add this attribute. Actually, I think he can play, badass or something like that. So you can remove that. Now you have to go into personality. Well, what kind of personality is he? And you notice something about this? None of this is alphabetical. It is literally, there's really no rhyme or reason. They're kind of grouped together, but in no real way. So you have to learn muscle memory to go into every spot to add things. And then you're going to have to save it. And you're going to be done. Now, I mean, you could clone options, right? So there are some options here to maybe make templates which would be something if I was a mod maker, what I would probably do is start every game with a template of like 10 people and just apply it to everybody and then go back and tweak it, right? So there are some options there, but how many clicks did it take just to get in there? Now let's talk about gimmicks. So now with gimmicks, what you have to do is you have to go through and click what its basis is, and there are no preset gimmicks anymore. So you have to go and type every gimmick that you want. Not a huge deal if you're doing one person, 10 people. What if you're doing 500, 1,000 people, right? Even just 100 people, and you're doing it from scratch, it's going to take a lot of time. The database is completely filled with these weird problems of just little elements that are making things harder and harder to manage. And that's why, unfortunately, people like Fleisch have called it quits. So I've talked to some other mod makers, and they're on the fence. One is definitely going to quit soon, and just hasn't made an announcement yet. And for confidence, I'm not going to release any information, but you unfortunately are going to hear some soon. And some mod makers are working through it, but by all accounts, everything is just harder to work with. Is this an impossible problem to overcome? No. What it will take is feedback to the developer, to Adam, and changes in the database. Now, like for example, maybe just having attributes as a list would be easier. Unfortunately, the mod makers I've talked to feel that their feedback has gone completely on deaf ears. And it seems that Grey Dog Software doesn't really care what the mod making community has to say. Which is crazy to me, because if you guys are like me, pretty much the only thing I play this game for are the mods. Real world mods are pretty much what I care about. It's what interests me. I don't care about the weird user custom created universe that they have created. It's great that they did, and I appreciate the level of detail in it, but that has no interest in me whatsoever. So it's looking like the mod makers that are going to stay around, unfortunately, are going to have a lot harder of a time to make a mod. It also means that if you're making a mod from scratch, it's probably going to be a lot harder than if you were converting a mod over. It's looking like there's probably not going to be that many mods for 2020, at least near launch. Now, I know there are a few real-world mods that are kind of geared up for beta. I know that Killing the Business mod, I believe, is going to have a version out at launch. I haven't really heard much one way or the other on that. I know The Who has his real-world mod, and I think Questlove, who took over the Real World Chronicles, is in fact working on the current Real World Chronicles. I haven't heard if he's given up, but unfortunately, it sounds like, and for the time being, all of Flesh's other historic mods and fantasy mods pretty much off the table. And if things continue with at least a few other people that I've talked to, it sounds like they're following suit. So kind of bad news for the game. What I'd recommend if you want this to change is go to the forums, talk to Adam, make your voice heard. There's a lot of controversy in this community lately about complaints and people complaining about the game. It's not about complaints, it's about love. I love this series, and I want it to be better than what the state of it is right now. And the only way you're going to have that change happen is if you are heard. And the only way you can be heard is by being vocal about it, being constructive and respectful, not just going out there and lambasting things, but being a respectful person and pointing it out to the creators, making the problems known, making it known how serious it is to you as a consumer, and ultimately, unfortunately, if it comes to it, speaking with your wallet and saying not yet, not right now, or maybe not at all. I'm not necessarily at that point yet, but I am very upset with how the community has been treated by the creators of this game, and how it feels to me when I've communicated and when I've seen other people communicated their problems, they are brushed aside as either trying to insult the creators or they're just trying to troll. I think it's a problem, and it's unfortunate because I think you're going to be seeing more and more mod makers probably just leave out of the game, and it just means less and less variety. I could be wrong, and maybe in that vacuum, more people will get used to this system and enjoy it, and maybe there will be new mod makers that will come out. I'm not trying to doom and gloom everything, but it's definitely something that I've noticed that is unfortunate and worries me for the long-term stability of the game. That was it for me today. That's my rant. What do you guys think? What mods are you looking forward to? What problems have you seen in the database that you would like to see fixed? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video. Please like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps a lot. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Thanks for watching.